All right, folks, yesterday was election day, and late last night I did a preliminary video explaining that we had a blue wave, even though the final votes were still being tabulated. And during that video, I mentioned that California's Proposition 50 had yet to be called, that the votes were still ongoing. Shortly after I posted the video, it was called, and Fox News broke the results, and take a look.
This is a special election night edition of America's Late News, Fox News at Night. And breaking right now, the polls are closed in California, and Fox News is now projecting that Proposition 50 will pass. The congressional redistricting plan from Governor Gavin Newsom that is expected to flip 5 seats held by Republicans.
So that was Fox News breaking the bad news to themselves and Trump, and it's particularly ironic because Trace Gallagher over the past couple of months has had an ongoing public feud with Governor Newsom, so he had to report on Newsom's victory over Trump. And we have a lot to talk about today. That's why I'm doing this video particularly early, because this news broke late last night, and we have all sorts of things to talk about today. But Trump initially tried to cope, on Truth Social. So he says, Trump wasn't on the ballot and shut down were the 2 reasons Republicans lost elections tonight, according to pollsters. So he was not happy, and he seemed to acknowledge that Republicans got their asses kicked. And again, more on that later, because Trump has since had even more public things to say. But this is the initial reaction about the time that Proposition 50 was called. Now, we're going to play some clips of Governor Gavin Newsom giving his victory speech over this in just a second. But as a reminder, I want to remind you guys, Texas started this. Donald Trump went to Texas, a red state, and said, hey, listen, probably going to get my asses kicked. We're probably going to get our asses kicked in the midterms if we don't gerrymander the shit out of red states so that we can just rig the terrain in our favor and just coast to victory. So I need you to give me 5 more Republican seats. And blue states, including California under Gavin Newsom, said, if you do this, don't do this, but if you do this, then we're going to have to try to retaliate because we can't just let you rig the game in your favor. We're going to have to at least try to neutralize what you do. And Texas went ahead anyway, and so Newsom put Proposition 50 up. Now, it was a ballot referendum. It was a special election. The people of California decided. It wasn't Newsom arbitrarily making the decision. It wasn't the Democratic legislature in California arbitrarily making the decision. They went to the people and said, hey, listen, if you want this, we're going to amend the Constitution, and we're going to gerrymander the state to contradict, to neutralize what Trump has done in Texas. And it won. So this is the most democratic outcome you could possibly have compared to what Republicans are doing. And Trump is pissed about that because this is going to set back his election rigging progress and his scheme quite a bit. The results of tonight's elections may ultimately even neutralize. Again, we'll talk about that later. But what California did specifically is deal a tremendous blow to what Trump tried to do. And let's hear from Governor Newsom.
To be part of this narrative this evening. We're proud of the work that the people of the state of California did tonight to send a powerful message to an historic president. Donald Trump is an historic president. He is the most historically unpopular president in modern history. In every critical category, Donald Trump is underwater. He promised to make us healthier. He promised to make us wealthier. We're sicker and poorer. And he fundamentally understands that. Why else would he call Greg Abbott saying he's entitled to 5 seats? Why else is he trying to rig the midterm elections before one single vote is even cast? He understands his position at this moment in the United States of America. One thing he never counted on, though, was the state of California.
That's true. Donald Trump is used to dealing with a sort of feckless Democrats who are well-intentioned, but, and they'll wag their fingers and they'll castigate, and sometimes they'll even deliver fiery speeches, but they don't feel like they can do anything meaningful. And Newsom's like, nah, fuck that. We're gonna work our asses off, and we're gonna do everything in our power to neutralize what you've done. And that is what he's done today. This is an enormous success for the Democratic Party and for Governor Newsom as a politician. Here's another clip.
And tonight, after poking the bear, this bear roared with an unprecedented turnout in a special election with an extraordinary result. None of us, however, are naive. This is a pattern. This is a practice. Donald Trump's efforts to rig the midterm election continue.
They do continue. They're not defeated outright. It's not totally stopped. Newsom has set them back, though. And again, as we'll discuss in subsequent videos, the blue wave that we just saw sweep Republicans could, not guaranteed, could mean that the gerrymandering efforts from Republicans is too risky to continue. Again, we'll talk about that in a separate video. This is about Proposition 50 and Trump's reaction to it. Another clip from Governor Newsom.
He said this election was rigged, and he's moving to look for criminal prosecution and investigations at the Department of Justice. He is not screwing around. So tonight, I'm proud, but I'm very mindful and sober of the moment we are living in. Donald Trump does not believe in fair and free elections. Period and full stop. This is not complicated, and it's self-evident to anyone paying attention.
Agreed. He was in advance, knowing that likely to lose this particular ballot referendum and knowing it would be disastrous for him. He was already saying in advance, it's going to be rigged. It's a rigged election. It's a rigged election. He sent federal election monitors in to monitor specific counties. So Governor Newsom responded by sending state authorities to monitor the monitors. Like, hey, you're going to look over Californian shoulders. We're going to look over your shoulder. See how you like it. So again, to the extent that Newsom has any hand to play, he has played it very well. The president of the United States, of course, is much more powerful than any governor, including the governor of California. But Newsom has leveraged what power he has to the best of his ability. Like, you want to talk about playing a hand particularly well? He did it. So the White House responded, "Make America Great Again." And Governor Newsom said, after a huge blue wave last night, we just did. We just did. And he's posting a bunch of AI images mocking Trump crying. Love it, because, again, he's continuing this on. Now, that's what we call a takedown. And that was showing, like, an AI video of President Obama and looks like Governor Newsom, tag teaming Trump in a wrestling arena. He loves his AI videos. See if he likes this. And, of course, there's Trump's face near Gavin's crotch before the takedown. Probably not going to like that. Governor Newsom's press office. Let's see if they have anything interesting to say. An AI video of Governor Newsom feeding Trump a pacifier, feeding Trump literally as he throws a tantrum. Another pacifier, because, again, Trump's a baby, right? Walking him around in a stroller. So, again, I'm really happy about this, folks. As you know, I was a big proponent of Proposition 50. I participated in Governor Newsom's live stream trying to raise funds for it. I think at the end of that fund, organized by Brian Tyler Cohen, I think at the end of that stream, over $1 million were raised. The fundraising was extraordinary there, and it was put to good use. And Proposition 50 has passed. Republicans are pissed. Again, we'll talk about all of that later. I just want to give you a breaking update that late last night, Proposition 50 was called by Fox News that it would pass. Trump is panicking about this, and we'll uncover the rest of the blue wave in subsequent videos in a few hours. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.